dangerous bribes, thousands now make this treacherous journey. It is estimated that there are over 200,000 Tibetans living in exile. A group of 24 refugees who had just crossed the border agreed to be interviewed. Some were fleeing religious persecution, others wanted an education, but they all wanted their faces hidden and their voices distorted, as they feared retribution on their families back in Tibet. One refugee who was prepared to have his face shown used to be a farmer and said he was a strong supporter of Tibetan independence. The last time there were mass riots in Tibet was in 1989. In response, China imposed martial law. In the weeks that followed, the US Congress and the European Parliament condemned the shooting of many unarmed protesters as China used lethal force to crush all dissent. Since then, Beijing has rigidly controlled reporting from Tibet. The shooting on the pass was one of the few times that Westerners have witnessed the killing of Tibetans, an incident the Chinese later described as self-defense.
This is the glacier leading to the Nampala Pass, where the shooting took place. I've learned lots from the survivors from the shooting, and now I want to go back to Tibet and find out why these people take risk to leave.
Tash is about to spend 3 months attempting what no one has done before, living undercover, reporting on life under Chinese rule. Tash Despa is returning to Tibet for the first time since he escaped 10 years ago. His plan is to live here undercover for 3 months to see what life is like for ordinary Tibetans. But in attempting to report on the realities of Tibet under Chinese rule, even with a British passport, he is risking imprisonment if he is caught.
There must be a reason why people take a risk to cross the Himalaya to get to India. So I'm on the way to meet an ex-political prisoner. I've been traveling for 10 hours now. I need to get a safe place to talk to him.
One of the first things the team noticed was an overwhelming military presence. This army convoy was several miles long. Tash had arranged to meet a man who had warned him it would be very risky to attempt to report undercover on life in Tibet. A campaigner for Tibetan rights, he has direct experience of how the state uses all means possible to monitor anyone who questions China's rule.
Also working in the Kyokri, Chastang Nuzina, any Shigini Munuga, Kadek, teaching Yankash Modi.
Ninka Chesusana engine, Sokon Incarage. And you took Sochin and you took the chin and Yona trade days at on the number of monks.
The team knew that filming anything, particularly the police, was extremely risky, but it was essential to document just how heavily policed the streets of Tibet have become. In a safe location on a roof, Tash revealed that the reality of his plan to live undercover for 3 months was already taking its toll.
This morning, truth?
Yeah, the truth.
I've been vomiting in the room as well.
Sorry?
I've been vomiting.
You've been vomiting?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nervous. Never happened this before in my life.
Do you think you can still do this?
Yes, I can still do it.
Many Tibetans have traditionally existed as nomads, but in the 4 decades since the occupation, the Chinese have increasingly tried to control this way of life. The government says it is improving the living conditions of nomads and will provide 52,000 with homes in 2008. But according to a Human Rights Watch report last year, many tens of thousands of Tibetans have been forcibly resettled and had their land and livestock confiscated. Pressure groups say that living conditions for nomads in the resettlement camps are grim. To investigate this, the team drove to a camp built in the middle of an empty plain, many miles from the nearest town.
This is the houses of the nomad families who are moved from the grassland. And I hear that there's 200 families right here now. Live here, it's like a little prison, isn't it? Look. It's really sad.
The camp has been occupied for nearly 2 years, but there are no public buses in or out, so the people here have little chance to travel to find work. There is no school or clinic, and with little support for retraining, the nomads are struggling to survive. As a result, alcoholism is becoming more and more of a problem.
Okay, we should go.
Okay.
I think it's no good to speak to anybody.
Why is that?
Because, you know, he doesn't trust them.
So it's not possible to go in any of the houses?
No.
So they're just fenced in behind these concrete walls, is that right?
Yeah. Normal, go.
The driver's increasing anxiety was justified when the team spotted 4 police cars parked, watching the camp.
It shows you how close it's always to be caught.
It was clearly too risky to try to talk to anyone here, so the team drove to another nomad resettlement camp a couple of hours away. This time, Tash went in alone, wearing a secret camera. Although there was a noticeable police presence here too, Tash was confident that he could blend in with the locals and felt it was worth taking the risk to talk to some directly.